Let's go, Mike. 0-0.
I'm a mean bastard. And I'm unrepentant. Really? You see that picture of the rock on Highway 8?
No.
There's a rock, two rocks. One of them almost 2/3 the size of that wall.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and another one about 1/3.
Wow.
And then in Ocotillo, I'm not really sure, but it looked like in Ocotillo it was underwater.
Oh, my God.
You know, the whole little town there.
Yeah.
But I don't think the road 8 was screwed up there because 8's pretty much elevated.
Yeah, it is.
But anyway, that's what happened to me during the winter. I went over, and you know where that campground in the middle of the thing is, where it looks like a runway and
Yeah.
those cross. I don't know what they were. I think they were probably campgrounds when the trucks used to break down all the time going up. It says private property, but it's like got its own exit and shit. Anyway, we come around that turn, and the trucks, everything stopped. I mean, stop. And I can look, because I'm way up high, just coming around that turn, and I can see it going all the way around and all the way down, and nobody's moving.
Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
And I'm going, oh, fuck. So I shut off the car, put on my music, and I just, and, oh no, I started doing my Duolingo.
Is that because of the rock?
Yeah, there was a giant rock fell in the middle of, but within a half hour, they had us moving, and within, maybe 40 minutes, I was past where the rock was.
Huh.
You know, once we got moving, it was just, people fucking the line, I'm going to go ahead of you. No, you're not.
Yeah. Driving on the shoulder.
You don't drive on the shoulder there much.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. I mean,
Yeah, Mike. I got it. Almost. You're almost there, Mike. 2-2. You.
God, dude, I had that. The reef.
Where's it gonna go? 3-2.
how much fuel did that jet thing you were telling me about, how much fuel did it use?
I have no idea.
You said it was up pretty long though, right?
Yeah.
Because that, I mean, it's weight and speed.
There.
It's what tells you,
They suck so much fuel, it's amazing.
I don't know, I hear all types of, in that place in Yuma, I hear all types of different engine sounds, little ones. But I've got, plugs on anyway, so I don't really hear them, I don't really pay attention. But I see these things all the time. And some of them look like they're way the hell up there, but you can't tell because, how big is it?
Yeah.
I got it.
Some of these planes that do Mach 3 only do it for a matter of seconds, a minute at the most.
Uh-huh.
I don't know whether there's too much heat after that or what.
I wouldn't doubt it. They said that, I heard that when they used to fly the Blackbird, the 111, that the fuel would just about be draining out of it while they were putting it,
Right.
And then when it got hot enough, it would seal up.
It's like a leaky boat,
Yeah.
If it gets wet enough.
Did you hear about huge Russian transport? The biggest one in the whole,
Yeah.
it has to fly with its own cargo of hydraulics because they don't use anybody else's hydraulics, and it leaks so much. It came to Maui, and everybody was so fucking pissed off. This was when nobody was pissed off at the Russians. You know, this is like the 90s. And everybody was so pissed off because it was making these huge puddles of hydraulic fluid all over the place, which of course is kind of not good for you.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Jeez.
I was working for DHS when I was there, and it was fascinating. I talked to the bomb guy one day, and he says, listen, if you ever see me running, try to get in front of me.
I can imagine. When they had the America's Cup here, Russia flew a couple of...
That was with O'Connor, right?
Yeah. Russia flew a couple of boats, sailboats,
Uh-huh.
one of those big freight jobs.
Oh, on one of those planes.
Yeah. And I was in my car by the coast highway going to or from the airport. I can't remember which, but it was there warming up, ready for takeoff. Well, the only problem was the engines were higher than the deflectors on the runway there. So it was blowing full force
Right out into...
into the coast highway. So there were people on bicycles that were getting blown over, and pedestrians were getting knocked down, and that gas station that's across from it had single supports on big square
Right,
roofs.
tin roof. Yeah.
Those things were going.
I'm surprised it would turn into a kite.
God.
Public relations for the Russians.
Yeah. When it took off, it just barely made it over Point Loma.
Did you hear what happened yesterday?
Uh,
The Russian spacecraft was supposed to land on the moon and instead it crashed into it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
Nice job, yeah.
Might convince Putin that. You know who Potemkin was, right?
Who?
Potemkin?
No.
Potemkin was a minister for one of the czars, and he used corruption in Russia is so monumental that, I mean, we never even thought of, I mean, I don't think the Arab countries come close to what the old czars. Anyway, so the czar, I think it was the Tsarina, or I don't remember, wanted to go and tour the countryside, go down the Volga or whatever, and and because it's a bureaucracy, he could. So he got it to last for about 3 years, and he built a whole series of villages along the river that they could stop, and they had these specially groomed peasants would come and go, woo!
Jesus.
Unbelievable.
Some of the wealth in the Russian bureaucracy is just astounding.
Well, Putin is. If the Saudi guy isn't the richest guy in the world, it's probably Putin.
Yeah.
The Chinese guy could be, but he probably doesn't have as much money as he has power.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I would think, because the Soviet, it's a communist country, it would look bad if...
Some of those guys, their private yachts are 400 and 500 feet long, and they've got a bunch of exotic cars lifted onto them so that when they get somewhere, they can zip around.
When the Prince of Jordan came to Maui, he would fly in his own cars. He had Rolls Royces and stuff, and he'd have I heard it was Kanapali, but it could have been Kapalua, but he'd stay at the Four Seasons in Wailea. And, or you didn't know where he was staying, and, but he'd have a whole fleet of cars, like he'd have a Rolls for there and a Bentley for here, so nobody would ever know what he was in, and he'd come and stay for a month or so. He didn't take the best room. He took about like a suite on this, suite there, suite there, suite there. And in the middle of the night, all his major henchmen would go to this specially prepared area in the back of the hotel where they would bring in girls and have lots of booze and ice and food and everything he wanted. And they deliver it beforehand, and then it was sealed up and no one got to see it again. You know what I mean? Till the next day, and then they'd go in and clean it up, you know?
Yeah.
They couldn't. One of his bodyguards would sit out in the hall, and he'd order lobster pizzas. He didn't even like them, but they were the most expensive fucking thing you could ever order.
Jeez. That's sick.
It is sick. It is sick.
Good ball.
I'd lie for you, Patrick, but
Yeah.
I got it.
A lot of times those guys would just rent the whole floor.
Out of the way.
no, I found like when the big stars like Eddie Murphy, excuse me, would come and all those guys, they wouldn't. They'd have like the biggest suite, the Miley suite.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Arabs.
Oh, well, yeah, we had the Four Seasons was a giant Jewish place, right? The guy who owns it is Jewish, right? But they were, what was it? What's the word? They were a franchise. Four Seasons is actually only a franchise, and the franchise was owned by Al Weed and the rest of the Arab crew. So we had tons of Arabs in there because they'd have special deals with the.
Yeah, baby.
They have special deals with the Arabs, and it always blew my mind. It's a Jewish place. At Jewish holidays, we'd be filled up, right? We'd have to pretend we were kosher, which we weren't, and nobody gave a shit.